I'm Tom, this is the Expedition Forge, and this is my new Unimog. I gotta tell you, this thing is slow. Hopefully we'll be able to fix that with an engine swap, with whatever we need to do. But for reasons I'll explain later, this thing would be quite a difficult engine swap. Turn into a parking lot. No power steering on the Mog. So another thing, the brakes don't work great in this thing. They work, but they don't work great. Now I'm gonna go turn around one more time. Here's the challenge. Boy, the turning radius on this thing is fantastic. No power steering, but if you can get the wheel to turn, you sure can turn. Yeah, look at that. I guess kind of a benefit to being a cab over. I think last time I had a lot of problems with the gear selector because I kept naturally trying to put the lever where you would normally put first. This is actually a 6-speed vehicle, but 2 of those gears are off-road. So what your brain thinks is first and second are actually not usable on the road. This gear selector has a pretty tough wall that sort of sits between the off-road gears and the on-road gears. So really makes it kind of difficult to even select those off-road gears or go between the off-road gears and the on-road gears. So here's backing up. And it does not make for a fast reversal. Forward. Road gears. Yeah, all right, Unimog, this is easy today. How do we take a right? Not many people down here. Yep. Second. Coast right into second. Not bad. So no matter what, this engine is going to be swapped out, no doubt about it. But I'm not as unhappy with it as I thought I was. It is the Mercedes M180. It's useless. But the rest of it, pretty good. I do worry about my ability. If this is going to be a true dedicated overlander, I do worry about its ability to make it where I want to go quickly. Because I actually have some of that going on with the Defender, actually. You do not get where you're going quick. So I would worry about this. Say we take this on a trip to Alaska, how fast can you really expect to go on the highway? However, where can you take it? Literally anywhere. All right. There it is. 404 Unimog. Back home where he belongs.
Oh no. Holy moly. I don't think I've even sat in this thing yet. Oh wait, no, I sat in the driver's seat.
Oh, I was trying to put a seatbelt on, but there's no seatbelt. Okay.
There isn't a seatbelt?
No, I'd never noticed that before, actually. No seatbelt.
Wow.
Sherman's living on the edge. Okay. So...
It's gonna get hot.
Yeah, it's gonna be hot quick, too. Neutral. Neutral, 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 neutral. Hang on, you're gonna love it. It's a great vehicle. Oh, that's why. You forget that.
What is this one right here?
This is forward and reverse.
Okay.
You have to tell it if you want to go in forward or reverse.
Like
but
a
if you're in
lawnmower.
reverse, you have to be in one of these two. Two off-road gears are in red. If you want to go in reverse, you got to be in one of those. If you're going down the road, you got to be in a white gear.
Okay.
So to go forward, if you're on road, we got to start in third.
Okay.
I think that's what messed me up a lot last time. So
You're starting in third gear?
We're starting in neutral.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
But when you drive, yes, you're starting in third gear.
Jeez, okay.
Okay.
And that's why it's so slow to go.
Yeah, but first is like crazy, like less than a mile an hour gear.
Does this work?
That's a good question.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna die. It'll get a little bit colder while we drive, I think.
I believe
But
you.
wait. Okay, yeah, you can open your door.
Can I?
Yeah.
Down or up?
I don't know. You're gonna love the Mog.
I'm panicking.
Panic. We could take that off. That'd be cool. We'd have a sunroof.
It's zip tied. You wanna drive around Africa in this thing?
It's not gonna be like this. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, ready?
Jace.
Hang on. Let me remember why it's not starting right now. Oh, why? That's why. Start button. Ready?
Okay. Shit.
There we go. Okay. We'll do a quick one, all right?
Ready? We should go left because I told that girl we couldn't go to their swimming party.
How will they know?
Left,
it's
not
us?
right. I'm trying to think. What is this similar to?
That we've had before?
Is there anything I've ever ridden in?
This is like walking. Look it up later.
Did that drop it? I'm sorry.
That's off the track.
I'll help you.
No, you won't.
I will. Just not today.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry.
I just don't want it to rain in here, you know?
Yeah. Bugs!
There we go.
It's not like an uncomfortable ride.
No, it's fine. It's
just hot. That's it. Like,
it's like if we can make it quieter and cooler, we'll be good.
yeah.
And there's like all sorts of room for like AC
Yeah.
ducting and stuff. It's not going to be a problem at all.
Yeah.
Engine swap it. We'll have actual AC in here. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
And because I want this has the potential to be the best overlander we have. I want like not compromise on anything.
Yeah.
It needs to have AC without a doubt.
Yeah.
It's gonna have a big ass snorkel on that side. There is no power steering in this.
Yeah.
So to make it easier to steer, they angled the wheels inward.
That's cool.
Yeah, so they tilted the wheels slightly to help you steer it.
Tilted them inward.
The bottom of the wheel is further in than the top.
That's cool. Or they could have just invented power steering.
It's a 65, and it's into the military.
Yeah. That's funny.
That's it. You like the Mog?
love it. No, I don't dislike it. I know you can like improve it and stuff. I think it's really cool. It'll be neat when we clean it up and...
I mean, just imagine it with an interior that's actually like equipped. It has full on AC. There's dials right here, flip your AC. It's gonna work. It's gonna be like that. Yeah. I think that this is the best choice for the Africa vehicle. And if it's going to Africa, and I'm taking it all the way apart, I want to be able to not compromise on anything with it. Yeah. That's it. That's the mod.
Okay.
So let's talk about my Mercedes-Benz Unimog. Technically not a Mercedes, it's a Daimler-Benz Unimog. Now, if you don't know much about Mercedes or Daimler, just know same. It doesn't mean anything different really. It just has a different name on the nameplate and on my paperwork for the DMV. This is a Daimler-Benz Unimog. And as far as what type of Unimog it is, if you had a preconceived notion of what a Unimog is, you probably imagine some great giant beast of burden that weighs 12,000 pounds and can't fit down any trail. That would be a different Unimog. Those do exist too, but this is a 404 Unimog, one of the smallest Unimogs you can get, still significantly taller than pretty much anything you're gonna see on the road, but not all that much wider. So with a box on the back, clearly this is a wide vehicle. I mean, just the face of it is wide, but I'm not actually sure how much wider this would be than something like my Land Cruiser. It's actually not crazy wide other than it having a big box on the back. By the way, we'll discuss the box in just a little bit. But the 404 Unimog, I'm glad that I got a 404, one of the smaller Unimogs, because I can fit on pretty much the same trails as everybody else. I have to be a little bit aware of being top heavy. It's a little tippy, but it's way taller than pretty much anything else out there. We'll get to why that is, but this 404 Unimog, great size, big enough to carry pretty much a small little apartment on the back and still do some hard off-road stuff and fit on any trail. So I'm happy with the size of the Unimog. Just taking a look at the wheelbase, not a crazy long wheelbase, which is great. It's got close to that sweet spot, sort of it's close to the Defender's wheelbase. I haven't measured it or looked up any specs, but just taking a look, my 7.3 Power Strokes wheels are significantly farther apart than this. So this is not crazy long, it's not crazy short. It's a good middle ground, stable, really what you want. Good size from the 404 Unimog. I think it's important to take a look under the hood because this is one of the key downsides, in my opinion, to this Unimog. This is an inline six Mercedes gasoline engine from 1963. So this is the M180. If you Google the M180, you'll see an inline six cylinder Mercedes 2.2 liter gasoline engine, making a grand total of 80 horsepower, brand new out of the German box. So it does not propel a vehicle that, if I had to ballpark it, I'm gonna put this somewhere around 8,000 pounds-ish. I have a hard time guesstimating the box on the back, and you'll see why shortly. But this, if we guess that this weighs 8,000 pounds, it gets pushed by 80 horsepower, and I don't know how much torque, but it being a gasoline engine with 80 horsepower, probably not very much torque. It is very slow. For me, from my experience, this vehicle tops out at somewhere in the 40s to 50 mile an hour range. So very slow. The last owner put in a propane conversion. So this does run right now on propane. It runs on like a forklift propane bottle in the back, but same engine. So M180 gasoline, 80 horsepower propane conversion. That's the powertrain that we're dealing with. That's the engine we're dealing with. You can tell it's kind of a cab over situation. So that engine does go back into the cab, and therefore that will be key in our project plans going forward. Now, just right now, take a look at relative height. I'm 6'1", 6'2", and this is where everything is on me. So you got a spare tire right here. I mean, think about how much water you could really ford in this thing. This, that's not even really, that's about touching the bottom of the engine, I'd say, down there. This thing could ford a crazy amount of water. It takes a good bit of boost to get up into it. It is very tall. I'm not suggesting that the 404 is like a normal pickup truck. It's very high off the ground, but it's not really crazy wide or long. It's sort of compact, and I think that is amazing. This, now after learning all this, is probably the Unimog I would have picked. So, climbing up inside, you got our turnstile handle, and we have this metal circle right here. This is a step. This is designed to be where you step to get into the vehicle. So, foot here, grab here, and you're in. Now, driving position, very upright, but comfortable. I think the Unimog is actually pretty comfortable to be a literal tractor. If somebody says that they have an old truck and it's like a tractor, it's not. This is like a tractor. Now the driving position, pretty upright, but overall pretty comfortable. It's bouncy in here. You have sort of springy seats. It's not actually that uncomfortable. There are two things that make it a little bit uncomfortable, and that is that the engine is right by your right knee, so it's hot and it's loud. And that engine's responsible for both of my comfort complaints in this vehicle. You're also in a cab over, so your wheels are essentially underneath you. You're sitting on your wheels, which makes turning really interesting. It's a lot different than driving a normal truck or 4x4. You have to get used to driving a cab over and knowing that your pivot point of your wheels is only a couple inches in front of you. All right, the inside of my Unimog. Now, it's very interesting. This all probably looks pretty strange. So, normal door handle, door window roll up. Ooh, don't touch that. That will fall off the track if you roll it down. So, you got normal-ish doors. Now, where it gets not normal is the console. So, you turn the key, and then this is the start button. I'm not going to start it right now, but that is the start button. These are all of your headlight settings. Now, this being a military vehicle, this was a legitimate German radio truck. So this was a German military vehicle. This has different headlight settings. Now, these are designed for, say, a different combo of lights, depending on what you need. You got normal headlights. You have like certain marker lights without the headlights on. You have all your lights off, and you can just do different configurations so that, say, the enemy doesn't see you at night. These switches underneath, no clue what any of those do. If anyone knows what that means, then let me know. This says summer. I don't know why. That's a button. Everything in metric. So there's Celsius, kilometers per hour. That all makes sense. This was German. There's German words everywhere in here. Speaking of the German writing in this cab, here are instructions for everything to do, ignore the bird poop, everything to do with the diff locks, gear changes, all that stuff. So starting on the left, we have this lever. So we have, let's see, some of this is in German, and then it switches to English actually. So front wheel drive, differential locks. Huh, never read that before. Okay, so we have down is disengaged. We have engage, so that's four-wheel drive in the middle. So that's taking this lever, going up to here. That's four-wheel drive. Now we have one more, differential locks. That's cable-actuated lockers. Pulling up one more. That's a cable-actuated lockers. That's both diff locks in this Unimog, tightened by cable. I love the idea of cable-actuated diff locks. I've never had them before, so I'm a big fan of anything that doesn't need air or electricity or anything like that. So cable actuated diff locks, we have a Unimog with big tires and diff locks right off the bat. Here is some power takeoff stuff. I think that that's this knob. I'm pretty sure that's power takeoff. So that's running accessories. If you know anything about tractors, this is sort of PTO. Helps run other like implements that you can put on the vehicle. This is nothing to do with the power takeoff. This also doesn't have any instructions. This is the parking brake. So you squeeze this, let it down, and then you're ready to drive. But your parking brake, pull it up, and then separate this, and then your parking brake is good. Parking brake works surprisingly well for something that my Land Cruiser could not figure out for the life of it. Okay, cross-country gears. What they mean is off-road gears. So 1 and 2, and then you have a little wall right here, and then you got 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the road gears. These are off-road gears. Don't want to use these on the road. trust me, you don't move. They're so slow. This thing is geared super low, and I'll show you something about the gearing once we get underneath the vehicle. These are road gears. Don't worry, they don't go fast either, but at least they're good for the road. So this thing is actually, mine shifts well, but you have to get used to it. You got to really find where these gears are, because that wall right there really is a challenge to get over. If you get stuck on this side, it's a challenge to hop over this wall and get to your gears, and then it's kind of hard to get used to finding these gears as well. This is probably the weirdest one. Again, the bird poop, but that's this lever here. You have push this down forward like it is. That's forward. You have in the middle would be neutral, and then there's reverse going backwards. So reverse, you have to reverse in an off-road gear for some reason, and in order to put it in reverse, it has to be in one of these two gears. Can't go into any of these. So think about how many gears you actually tell somebody this is. It's kind of a 6-speed, but it's also kind of an 8-speed, because you have forward, you have 6 gears, then you have reverse, which is 2 gears. So yeah, 8 gears. So anyway, that's sort of all that I know very well as far as controls in the interior. This is the coolant reservoir bottle. So you can add coolant while you're sitting inside the vehicle. Kind of a genius idea in one sense, except for the fact that taking this off would probably scald you. And also, so here comes the first critical flaw. I mean, obviously you saw rust, but this vehicle has a bad head gasket. Now this is positioned right here, so the coolant bottle. Now underneath it, the engine. So look at that. That M180 that I mentioned earlier is right there in all its glory. So the engine is right next to your knee as you drive, and all that really blocks you from your engine is this little pair of panels. So there's a little more security from the factory going on than what I have here, but these just clip together. They do not hold back the heat very well, and they don't hold back the noise very well. So it gets loud and hot in here because the engine is essentially blocked by these two flimsy little engine panels. They do secure in mine, so don't come after me in the comments for that. It does secure, and still not very well insulated from heat or noise, which is not surprising. This is a military vehicle from 1963. Anyway, this coolant, it leaks down into the engine, and boy does it. Whenever you turn it off, it still continues to leak by gravity if you have a bad head gasket like my M180 does. Now, I'm not gonna say exactly what we're doing because I'm not sure yet, but we're gonna swap this. I don't want this M180 in here anymore, and I think we can do something cooler and make our Unimog something more custom and better off-road with something else. Now, I'm not gonna hide anything from you. Look, there's a lot of rust on this thing, and I knew that coming in. This didn't hide for me. But, I mean, how cool is this? I had to show you everything. But this thing is really rusty. I don't even know what I'm doing with the box in the back. Like I said, this was a genuine German military truck. This is a 1963 from Germany, just like you can buy military surplus stuff from in the US. This is essentially that. This is an old military truck that got retired and passed on the civilian market, imported to Washington, traded hands a whole bunch of times, and now I have it. If you're not yet sold on my Unimog, if you don't believe me, if you don't think it's gonna turn out awesome, let me show you a few things about what I think makes Unimogs so special. A lot of you are probably familiar with this, but if you're not, here is my favorite thing about Unimogs. If you look, this is a solid axle vehicle in the front and the rear, but you'll notice that the axle doesn't connect to the center of the wheel. It sits above the center of the wheel, which looks really odd to the eye. How does it do that? How does that shaft spin the wheels in an even circle if it's not in the center? Well, these are called portal axles, and that axle connects to the top, and that's a set of gears right there. So it spins gears at the top, which spin gears at the bottom. So this axle is able to sit much higher because it has a gear set at the hubs rather than a typical solid axle vehicle. Another advantage of the Unimog, this is probably my favorite part, most vehicles have a gear ratio that you're well aware of. If you have a Jeep, you may have 410s in the rear, you know. You may have 410s in your diff. Well, this Unimog has gears here and then gears here. So you can consider it a reduction in gearing at your diff where there always is, but then you have a second gear reduction at your hubs, which means your final drive ratio is lower because you get 2 reductions at your rear axle instead of 1. So the Unimog is geared lower than almost anything you'll find on the road because it has those portal axles. Another benefit of the portal axles, probably the main one, is that ground clearance. Look how high that diff pumpkin sits above the ground. I can just about crawl on my hands and knees straight under this thing, and it is by a mile the tallest vehicle I have. Speaking of ground clearance, look at the tires on this thing. So these are 275 80R20s. I'm not sure exactly what that is in American, but I'll put it on the screen right now. This obviously is another reason that the Unimog gets to be so tall. And as far as underneath sort of the skeleton of this thing, it's really, really healthy. There's no rust on any of the mechanical stuff or the frame, only on all of this showy stuff out here. So the cab, very rusty, but the frame, the components underneath, all look fantastic. So to me, that's a win-win. That's this is minor stuff to me. I can fix all this. I don't even know if I'm reusing this back box, so that doesn't freak me out. Now I'm sure you're asking, Tom, what's in the box? What's in the back of the Unimog? Well, if you just gear shirt this door, you'll see that it's my propane bottle. So this is the forklift propane bottle I was talking about. This is ran up to the engine bay and it runs on that propane. This is only the side door, but Germans really thought of everything. If you take this step down, you have a little steel step, and it's really solid, and that's one of the things I don't like about the idea of getting rid of the back box. I really like the steps. I might have to recreate them if I do something different. And it springs back up and latches by itself. And that's only the side entrance, a little easier to get around in the back. Here's where things get interesting and where things I'm guessing are gonna get controversial. So we have our back doors. They even have these little stoppers. I love this back box area for all these things that they thought of. A step on each side, like I showed around the side. So I'll leave that one up. But so 1 foot up, grab handle, pull yourself up, and you're in. Now, take a look around. This is a genuine German radio truck from the German army, and it has everything still back here. People may have taken some loose goods out of here, but I'm telling you, everything in here is genuine, true German military stuff. There's still seats back here that secure to the floor. They have these sort of old seat belts. I was in the military. This style buckle is all too familiar. This is true military stuff back here. I mean, down to the shades on the windows. It's all original. All these German warnings and instructions, everything in here. True to the period, actual leftover German military surplus stuff. Now, the controversy. I didn't buy this as a piece of history. I bought it to be the ultimate overlander. I really thought at first I would love to take all this stuff out and camp out of it, make it into a little hotel room, you know, a great comfy bed that I could stay in for months at a time. But what do I do with all this German military stuff? I think it's an important piece of history. I think somebody would really value it, but it's not why I got the vehicle. And while it's controversial, I'm not going to keep it. Whether I get rid of the actual structure or not, the stuff inside is going to go. So I will be getting rid of all this stuff. If you're interested, let me know if you want some old German military crap. Now, ooh, wow, I never sat in this chair before, but it's bouncy. It's comfy. Now, with all of this German military stuff in here, I do understand there is value in this stuff. I'm not going to give it away, but I do feel a little bit of guilt. I do feel some guilt for getting rid of something that truly captures a time period of a very specific activity, especially one so close to me. It's military history. But it's not why I got it. I also have, when I first started this YouTube channel, like a month, 2 months ago, I said something to the effect of, I'm going to bring the Defender around Africa for a year. This changes that. I'm obviously more interested in taking the Unimog around the whole of Africa because I can air condition this back room. I can put AC in the front. I can have a bed in here, a little kitchen. This would be much less like camping and more like moving my house with me. And I have a deep disdain for the normal camper. I really don't like a normal camper or RV because I just believe that the adventures that are worth having are off the pavement. And this thing is able to do that and still cover all the bases that something like an RV can. So it's the best of both worlds. And if I go to Africa with any of my vehicles, it'll be in this one. Now, as you can see, I don't want to do a deep dive into this because this video will be super long. Plus, I think it'd be interesting. I've looked around in here just a little bit. I swear I haven't opened every drawer, but I think I'm going to do a future video where we just dig through here and see what German military stuff we can find, because I've found a couple of things just by walking through that are really astounding. They're really interesting. But just taking a look around at all these things, all these German warnings and switches, this truck genuinely had a small team of people, maybe 2 guys, operating radio equipment in the back during some smaller conflicts or war games or anything like that. This really did have German military personnel in the back doing their job every day, and all the stuff's still here. It's really amazing. We'll do a full dive on this later on a different video, but just from look around. I mean, the lights are still in here. All the radio switches. There's a ventilation right here. It's really amazing, and I have not looked all the way through it. I want to save my genuine impression of this thing for you guys. I want to record it and experience it along with you as I find new things in these drawers I have not opened. In fact, this one still has a padlock on it, if you don't believe me. I can't even open that. So we'll cut that off, and we'll explore this thing and find some real German military history inside this thing. Well, guys, what do you think of the Mog? Of all my 4-wheel drive vehicles, this is the one that I'm most excited about. I think this project has the most potential. I think it could be the most off-road capable. I think it's going to be the most practical. I think it's going to be the one that brings us around Africa. And I think this could be the main character on the channel. What do you think? I know this is the biggest project that we have. It's got a smash face. It's got a good bit of rust. It's got a bad head gasket and a 50, 60-year-old gas engine. But I'm excited for how big of a project that's going to be and what it could be when it's done. I think it has the most potential in that way. But on that note, I need your help. Where do you think we go from here with this project? I'm going to remove the cab, no doubt about it, and we're going to do an engine swap, but what do we swap in? A lot of you know that I have a 1977 Mercedes 300D with an OM617. That engine actually bolts straight up to the Unimog transmission, and I can drop a turbo on it really easily. Mine's naturally aspirated. I can drop a turbo on there for a little bit more power. One thing that I worry about with that swap is that if this is going to be a global overlander carrying a lot of weight on its back, is the OM617 going to be any better on power and speed than this M180? And am I going to be able to do somewhat close to highway speeds? I'd like to be able to do 60 at least comfortably. And I don't know if the OM617 is good for that. Now, I'm sure that it's, known as one of the most reliable engines in the world. That would be great. But does it have the power to get along on the highway? Now, a more insane aggro option that I've been considering is a 12-valve Cummins. If I put a 5.9 in this thing, that speed issue would be solved. It would have plenty of power to carry whatever I put on its back. And I think that would be a really exciting option. Now, we're talking about a significant exponential increase in difficulty of the project and time taken to complete the project. But boy, wouldn't it be awesome to have a 12-valve Cummins in it, 5-speed manual, a double triangulated custom 4-link in the rear. Oh man, this thing could be an absolute dream vehicle if I go with the 5.9 Cummins. But there's a lot of engineering things to overcome with the 5.9. Crazy heavy, significantly heavier than the M180. We'd have to figure that out. We'd have to figure out the suspension in general would have to change because this is what's called a torque tube suspension. I'd have to do some chopping and rearranging and things on the chassis. So it would be a huge, huge project. but boy, would the outcome be sweet. A 5.9 Cummins and a 404 Unimog with a double triangulated 4-link suspension. I think that'd be amazing. If you have any other ideas, throw them in the comments. Let me know, what do we do with this? Keeping in mind that we want to build the ultimate international, global overlander that can basically carry a hotel room on its back for months at a time. What do we do with the 404 Unimog? If you like this video, please subscribe, like, comment, and catch me on TikTok and Instagram. I've got the tags right here. Thank you for watching so much. Thanks for visiting the Forge. We're outside this time. Let me know if you like doing this, if this is better than in the shop. Thanks for watching. See you next time.